we're at go-to-math.com. Click on the calculus button here. We got a guy dressed in red. I don't know who he is. Flying through the streets of New York. Natural logarithmic functions. I'm actually watching the Macy's Day Parade. Give you an idea what day it is. We're doing 2.1, I believe. Yep. Alright, so this one's not as bad as the last one. It says use change of variables, then use log rule. In other words, we're going to be doing u substitution. And then the log rule. Have I been mentioning the log rule? Alright, the log rule. It's not the log roll, it's the log rule. 5x over 4x plus 1 quantity squared dx. Alright, what are we doing? I guess you gotta have special tickets or something to be able to stand along the street right there. I don't know. Stand along the street to watch that parade because there's just not a lot of people. They got them all lined up against the wall, it looks like. So I would imagine you gotta have some kind of special tickets. Okay, so we're going to be using, this section's about using the log rule and all that. But all right, so we're going to be using u substitution in this problem. Let's let u be what's in parentheses. This time it's in the denominator. U is equal to 4x plus 1, and du is equal to 4 dx. And I get questions like, how do I know what rule to use? Well, let me explain that one to you. If you do enough of these problems, you'll just be able to look at it and know, and that's really where you want to be. You want to be able to just look at that and go, oh, I need to use that method. All right. Okay, so we do like we normally do here. Solve for dx, or try to, get your constants over, or your coefficients over to the left. I'm going to go ahead and pull this 5 out. Let's do that. We'll just rewrite this thing. X over 4x plus 1 squared dx. Alright, so we can replace our dx. Whoa, what's going on here? Something is fishy in St. Louis. Did I write this problem down right? Use change of variables. Well, as you can see, that's not going to work, right? This is not going to work. So it's probably a good thing that I did it this way. It says use change of variables, and that's a little different from use substitution, even though it still is, but they call this change variables. Now, let me show you what we're going to have to do here. Alright, as you can see, I'm like just going through yabbing on about the parade and everything, not paying attention. There's an X up here. Like, whoa, wait a minute. So what we're going to end up doing is kind of a trick. Alright, these get kind of tricky. So we're still working with this here. Let's actually cross this part out. Alright, and let's solve for x right here. Let's solve for x. So we'll just rewrite this down here. So this becomes u minus 1 is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and take that 4 down here, and then the x. Alright, do you see that? Does everybody see that? Okay, well, this x right here is going to get replaced by this. Okay, it's going to end up getting replaced by this. But we still need to replace this dx. We've still got to replace the dx, right? Okay, so that's something that you got to kind of remember. And then this right here is going to be our u, or is going to be our u right here. Okay, so why don't we go back up and look at this here. I shouldn't have probably canceled this piece out right here. We're still taking the derivative of this. All right, we're still going to take the derivative of this. So this becomes du equals 4dx. It still becomes 4dx. You see this right here? Okay. And let's go ahead and do that. All right, I shouldn't have probably done that. All right, so the dx is going to get replaced by the 1/4 du, but the x up here gets replaced by 1 minus u minus 1 over 4. That's going to go in right here. All right, so let's see what happens on this thing. Okay, and of course we can take this 1/4 and just bring it out. And so we end up with u minus 1 over u squared. And remember now that this dx gets replaced with 1/4 du. So in other words, I'm going to go ahead and write that just right here. Right, that got replaced with this right here. Okay. All right, and let's now take both of these guys and bring them out. So this is 1/4 times 1/4, which ends up being 1/16. Let's bring it outside. So this becomes 5 over 16. All right, we have u minus 1 over u squared du. Okay. Now look what's going to take place here. We're going to end up having to break this up. We're going to break this up 5/16. So this is u over u squared minus 1 over u squared du. All right, and you know what? I'm just going to write this again right here. How's that? So we can simplify this. This will simplify down to 1 over u. So that ought to look familiar now. And this guy we can bring up to the numerator, u to the negative 2. All right. And I'm not going to break this up into two separate integrals. Okay. We're going to leave it just like that. All right. So this becomes what? 5/16. The integral of 1 over u is the natural log of the absolute value of u. And then this, we add 1 to the exponent. And we put the exponent down here in the denominator. And what do we do now? We say plus c. Okay? But remember, we want to get everything back in terms of x. So this becomes 5/16. The natural log of the absolute value. Do we remember what u is? We'll have to go up here and take a look at that. 4x plus 1. 4x plus 1. 4x plus 1. Now, we have negative, or we got a minus, a negative, so that's going to be plus. We have u to the negative 1. Let's go ahead and take that back down. Of course, this is going to be 4x plus 1 down here in the denominator, and then plus our constant. Okay. All right. Go ahead and hit the answer button there. Let's take a look at that. So we have 5/16, and did I have parentheses around all that? Uh-oh, I see something fishy. Should have been parentheses around. Actually, it's around everything, but 5/16 times c is just another constant, so that's not necessary. But I should have had a parentheses around all that, so we got to really be careful about that. Okay. Now in the answer, it looks like I took the 1 over 4x plus 1 and actually reordered it and put it up here in the front. So we have 5/16 1 over 4x plus 1 times natural log of 4x plus 1 plus the constant. Alright, as you can see here, we have parentheses. Okay, so we almost forgot about this x, so that's kind of a new deal. They call that the change of variables. Alright, you want to come on by, practice that, and I'll see you later.